Hello, everyone, and welcome to Those Working Fangirls, where we talk all things nerdy, book, TV, movie, pop culture, fandoms, and how they integrate into our adult lives. I'm Natasha.
And I'm Christine.
And today we're going to be digging into the early YouTube fandom.
Yes.
I mean, that's where we started, so it only makes sense almost 90 episodes in that we finally talk about it.
Yeah.
So we'll be gushing about the early YouTubers we loved and how they inspired us and influenced our lives at the time. So this is like way, way back, okay?
This is a deep dive. Like, this is the first YouTubers that brought us to YouTube, that made us like know that making vlogs was a thing and really inspired us in different ways. So we're excited to discuss that. It's going to be super nostalgic, I feel like.
Yes.
Early YouTube days. But before that, we have some snap, crackle, pop culture news. As always, Natasha, you want to kick us off with your bit of news?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we are at Romance Con right now.
Right now in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as this goes live.
And we're super excited to be meeting everyone there. But for other news, sad news, Adele announced that she's going to be taking a very, very long break and that we won't be seeing her for a long time. And she performed, I think I don't know where, somewhere in Europe. And then she's going to be doing her last two shows in Las Vegas. And it's just kind of sad. Like, she said that she's built a life for herself and she's ready to live that life. And I'm assuming it's going to be for maybe another decade. We won't see her make any new music or more, or outperforming or attending anything. So, I mean, like, good for her. But I love her. So it's going to be a little sad.
I wonder if maybe depending on how she feels during the break, 'cause sometimes people take breaks and then they get bored like a few years in and want to come back. So you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. In other news, Only Murders in the Building season 4 just all dropped at once on Hulu, which is exciting. I haven't allowed myself to watch it because of my no TV ban right now. But that's not one of those shows that I get very addicted to. Usually it's like one of those comfort shows that you put on and it's just nice to watch. Have you ever watched?
I tried watching the first season and I didn't really get into it. Like, I liked it, but it wasn't something that I kept wanting to like put back on.
Yeah, it was something that I put on when I had nothing to watch in the first season and like got really endeared to it slowly. Like, it was like a slow burn, and by the second season I was like, oh, I actually like this.
Sean says it's surprisingly cozy for something with murder in the title.
Well, that's what it is. It's a cozy murder. You know how there's cozy
mystery murder,
cozy mysteries. Yeah, cozy mystery murders. That's what it is, and that's when our friend Reagan, talks about cozy books all the time and cozy murder mysteries, and I was like very unfamiliar with that genre. But then I realized through watching Only Murders in the Building, I was like, this is that genre. It's very soft. It's not like very intense. Even when there's a murder, it's kind of like lighthearted feeling. Is Only Murders funny? Chris asks. It's not like laugh out loud funny all the time. It's like amusing, cute, funny, and sometimes it's laugh out loud funny. It's not like I am hysterically laughing. It's like I feel cozy and like sweet watching it.
I love a good Steve Martin.
Yeah. It's got those like heartwarming vibes between Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez. So that's nice. Also, in news that just dropped this morning, I saw on Twitter, Louis Patridge, is that how you say his name?
Patridge, yeah. I think
yeah,
so.
Olivia Rodrigo's boyfriend. He was in
Enola Holmes.
In Enola Holmes, yeah. All right, he was just cast in Greta Gerwig's Chronicles of Narnia adaptation for Netflix that she's doing. So
I saw that. Is he going to be... Oh, and with the oldest brother?
Yeah, the handsome guy. It didn't say what he was cast as. It just said he was been cast.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. It's great for him.
A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Olivia and him could be the next Bella and Edward.
Literally, because of all the stuff at the Venice Film Festival, the way that they were photographed and the way they were dressed was giving Bella and Edward when he puts his arm around her with the sunglasses in slow motion. So there was a lot of like, there's so Bella and Edward coded memes all over the internet the past couple days, and I'm all here for it. I'm here for it. And there's a lot of like, Louis went to this Tom Holland school of boyfriending because there's a lot of just shots of him admiring her and like taking pictures of her and looking back at her all the time. Yeah, it's cute.
I want a British boyfriend.
Let's see here. Heartstopper season 3 is coming October 3rd. I'm so excited.
Oh my God.
Is it October 3rd? October 3rd. Yeah. What day is it?
That's my favorite show.
I'm so excited. I love them so much. I want to rewatch season 2 because it's been a while. And I don't remember exactly what happened and what a joy it would be to rewatch it.
Listen, I tried to rewatch it when I was sewing, but it's not a show that you can just passively watch because of all the text on screen and the text and things like that. So like you have to like actually sit down and like watch.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I did try to rewatch it too, and I think the same thing happened because I was like doing something while I put it on, and I was like, no, I want to pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metal says, I think Taylor Swift has proved that not all British boyfriends are worth it.
I mean, just like any other place.
There's
good British boyfriends and there's mediocre British boyfriends.
Yep.
All right. Okay, big announcement. Better Together, my second novel, is on Kindle Unlimited now.
Oh, yay!
So you can read it for free if you have Kindle Unlimited, which is just so cool. And if you do read it and enjoy it, would love for you to take a second to review it afterward, because like I always say, reviews are so important to helping other people find the book. It makes the algorithm promote the book and all that jazz. My other book, Attached at the Hip, is out. Survivor rom-com. So Better Together. I haven't talked about that one in a long time. If you don't know, it's like The Parent Trap if they didn't realize that they had been separated and that they were sisters until their early 20s, late teens. So one of the characters is 19 and one of the characters is 21. And it's what would happen if you were older when you realize that, and you realize that your parents made such an idiotic douche decision to just leave one of you on one coast and the other one on the other. So, and then they both fall in love. And so it's like, it's rom-com and sister story, and the sisters are getting to know each other and they kind of switch coasts, and it's a fun time. So that's on Kindle Unlimited. Attached at the Hip is everywhere books are sold. That's my Survivor-esque adventure rom-com. And right now we're at Romance Con. If you happen to be at Romance Con right now, I am so excited. I have a table there. So my books will be available there. I think they have like a bookshop. They do have a bookshop, I don't think, where you can get the books of the authors that are going to be there if you haven't gotten them already. And then there's all these tables. Each author has a table during like the signing section of each day. And we have a table. I have a table, and Natasha will be there too, because we'll have some Forking Fangirl stuff. We'll have some, should we tell them that we're going to have magnets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have some swag. So we're going to have those Forking Fangirl magnets. You're going to get to see those Forking Fangirls, the first sight of our merch.
Yeah.
We just have prototypes, but like it'll be better. The final version will be better, but we're wearing our prototypes. So you'll get to see those. I have some swag for Attached at the Hip, which is exciting. I've got some stickers, and I have a sticker of 3 of the characters with Attached at the Hip over it. And it's like one of those cutout stickers that are cool and cute, and I'm gonna put one on my new laptop. I'm excited. And I have bookmarks with like Sasha's character art on them, so 2 of the characters will be on there, and then on the back is the group picture of all the Attached at the Hip characters. And then I just have also bookmarks with like my little banner on it, so if you don't know me you can see what my books are and what my socials are. Shots FOMO, I want a magnet. Yay, Julia added it to her library. Better Together, thank you. Yeah. And also, if you've read Attached to the Hip and you liked it, enjoyed it, I really, really appreciate you reviewing it on whatever place you got it from. Reviews on Amazon and Audible and Barnes and Noble, wherever you read it or got it, are so, so helpful to new people finding the book. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. What? Oh, what about the ball? The ball is coming so fast.
The ball is coming very fast. Tickets are available at listeria.com if you want to come to the Blood Moon Ball. It is a Halloween gothic ball where you can dress up in a costume or come in like a gothic ball gown. Trying to get all of my special guests in order, and we'll hopefully have announcements coming soon. So excited. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And real quick today in Taylor Swift's on a little break, but football season is back.
I know.
So
I'm excited.
Swift ball season is back in session.
I don't think I've ever been excited for a football season before in my life.
Literally. I was like, oh my God, Taylor Swift's going to be going to football games soon. I'm excited.
When did she go back on tour?
I think she had a 13-day break. So 13 days from her last show. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. So she's going to go back pretty soon, probably.
Probably after, I would think, Travis's first game. But I don't know. I haven't looked at the dates for football, but I'm assuming she's going to be there for the opening of the season. I think that's this week or something. So
yeah. Alex has been doing his
are excited.
Fantasy football leagues, so
it's coming. There's a little TikTok dance to the da-na-na, na-na-na-na, that I thought maybe Yumi and Chloe could do for like the Forking Fangirls doing a live show.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna move on into what right now. Natasha, what have you been reading?
Well, you and I both read The Wives because you told me to last week.
We did. We devoured that.
We did.
Within 48 hours.
Yeah.
I was breezing on through. And it was good. It was very entertaining.
Very.
I don't really want to say anything about the end. So it was a good book for like to get your brain back in reading mode.
Yeah, because you couldn't really put it down. I think there was one night where I just kept like listening to it because I was listening while I was sewing, and I went upstairs and I took a shower and I listened to it in the shower, and then I was brushing my teeth. I was listening to it while I was brushing my teeth, and then I went to bed, and then it just was playing while I was trying to fall asleep for hours. I was like, what happens next?
Yeah, literally, it came to the point where I was like, I just need to finish reading this today so that I can stop thinking about it. So I just sat down and read it. But yeah, I read it all with my eyes very quickly. And afterward, I was like, what do I read next? What do I read next? But I decided that I downloaded a bunch of samples for other thrillers, but I decided my best course of action at this moment is to write and stop reading thrillers because I can't stop reading the thrillers.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. If you're like, I'm no TV, but let's do books and movies. Yeah, and then you're like reading thrillers that you can't put down.
I know. And also I've watched like 50 million movies in the last week. But the movies are actually helpful. I find them inspiring and interesting.
That's good. I also, so after The Wives, I was like, I don't know if I want another like thriller. So I've been reading Hermione fanfic. And this one I really like. It's set in Hogwarts in their 7th year that they had to come back for after the war. And, or is it, I guess it would be like their 8th year? Or they're redoing their 7th year, whatever.
No, they're redoing their 7th year because they didn't go to the 7th year. They were just camping all year.
Yes, exactly. So they're all back. And it's called Breath Mints and Battle Scars by Onyx and Elm. And every time it's Brittany's favorite Hermione. Yeah, this one is unputdownable. It is fucking toxic as hell, so just be aware of that. But you know what, I've been reading so many good
healthy relationships.
healthy relationships, people that like need to go to therapy and then they understand that about themselves. I'm like, you know what? I've had enough of that. And I understand that's real life. That's true. I want something that's not, I need a bad
I
Draco.
need some toxicity in my life.
Yeah.
Want
So
some Damon energy.
basically I was looking for a like a free audiobook, and sometimes Spotify has like a lot of fans of fanfic will read out the fanfics, and so this is actually available on Spotify. So she AMP, she actually has all the chapters up on Spotify, so if you want to listen to it, you can. The author of the fanfic took it down off of AO3, which is sad because a lot of times fanfic authors take them down because people are printing them and they're selling them as physical copies. So I did find it somewhere else, and I'm reading it as well. So I'm listening and reading at the same time.
I like that it's accessible via audio. That's cool.
Yeah, there's a few. I found this out when I was reading Manacled, I think last 2 years ago, which is like the big popular Hermione fanfic that just went mainstream. And I was like, I can't just sit here and read this 100-chapter book. I need something else. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh my God, there's an audiobook. So if you ever want to read Manacled, there is an audiobook of it.
Nice. All right. Well, as far as movies this week, I watched a lot.
Okay, yeah, you go through your movie. I didn't watch any movie.
All right. So I watched Boot Camp that Natasha talked about last week, and Natasha went into it like braced to be traumatized the whole time. So she wasn't able to enjoy it as much. And so I went into it being like, Natasha kind of liked this. And I was like, this is so fun. Having such a good time watching it. There's so much like really good chemistry between the leads, and the lead girl was so funny and she had great comedic timing, and I just had a great time watching that film. So if you haven't watched it yet, it's worth the $4.99 rental.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
it is.
I was like, this is so cute.
I feel like we haven't had like a good, like cute little rom-com.
And the pacing is really good. The editing is good. We haven't had a rom-com that's as good a pace as they used to be back in the olden days. It's so weird how the editing now is so tight that you can't feel the story as much. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I know why, because of the fucking TikTok and stuff that's become like a trend, but it's different. It's a different realm. You can't edit a movie like you edit a fucking YouTube video or TikTok. Like it has to breathe for you to be able to get the impact of the story. So anyway, Boot Camp is edited really well. It's really well paced. The acting is really sweet. I thought it was really fun, and the main guy is really hot. And
he is really hot. He's from Riverdale.
I don't like remember who he plays at all in Riverdale, but yeah, I really liked him in this movie. Mm-hmm. I was like, I want to see what else he's done. All right, and then I went on this big tangent of rewatching Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey movies. So I rewatched Big Daddy because, okay, Travis was cast in Happy Gilmore. This is how this started. And I was like, I have never seen Happy Gilmore because my favorite Adam Sandler movies are the ones that are rom-coms. They never market them as rom-coms, but like these are the rom-com ones if you didn't know. Big Daddy is not. Big Daddy's like a father kind of like the 20s, the guy stuck in his 20s mindset, like Raising Helen, like who gets a kid and needs to like figure out how to parent and be a grown-up. Yeah. That kind of movie. That's what Big Daddy is. And Big Daddy has Cole and Dylan Sprouse in it, playing his kid. And it was so different watching it as an adult because I saw this movie as like an 8-year-old. And all I remembered was that the kid ate straight ketchup and peed on a door. And And it was so much more relatable now because it's this guy in his early 30s whose girlfriend is like frustrated with him because he's not like ambitious and isn't going anywhere with his life, and he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life really and where he wants to go. Like he went to law school but never took the bar. He's not motivated, and it's him in that like early 30s stage of life. And it's actually like it aged a little not well, but I was actually impressed with like how like he has two best friends, like a gay couple as his two best friends in that movie. And this movie came out in 1999 and there weren't really gay couples on screen, and I was like, Adam Sandler is trying to be like trying to like put LGBTQ characters on screen in a positive light, and that was really nice.
Yeah.
I was like really impressed with it. And then I was remembering like, oh, maybe he was like actually really trying to do that a lot, because Anger Management was the first time that I saw like a lesbian couple on screen that weren't like the stereotypical lesbian couple. That's all I remember from Anger Management because I was really young. I was like, oh my God, those lesbians are so nice and pretty. Like stereotypically, they would have like your stereotypical, like very not femme lesbian on screen in the 90s. So that was interesting to like revisit. And then, then I rewatched Mr. Deeds because, well, I love Mr. Deeds. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but that's like the best Adam Sandler movie in my opinion.
I definitely watched it recently.
It is a rom-com from like a male perspective with Winona Ryder, and it just like was one of my DVD films when I was really little that we used to watch on our little portable DVD player all the time, me and Olivia and Paul, and it was really nostalgic and it was really cute. So I think there was like, I don't know, there wasn't much that didn't age well, but there was a couple things obviously because it's from 2000. I don't know. And then I watched, this is my favorite one I rewatched. It's Liar Liar. It's Jim Carrey's movie Liar Liar from like 1998 or something. And I watched this movie as a child. And again, this was so different as an adult. I understood all the jokes and I like laughed a lot. And I have this new appreciation for Jim Carrey as an actor and a comedian, because now seeing him like in his 30s and 40s doing all this physical humor where he just throws himself around like constantly, I'm like, wow, wait a minute. I learned a lot of my facial expressions from Jim Carrey. Like I learned a lot of my like mannerisms from Jim Carrey. Like my dad loved Jim Carrey, so we always watched his movies, but like I didn't really like think that they were as funny as everyone else did because I was a little child.
Yeah. We loved Jim Carrey growing up, especially if you were born in the 90s. But I've never really gone back and rewatched some of his old comedic movies.
Yeah, it's so, I don't know. I'm looking at it in such a different light, so I wanted to rewatch a lot of Jim Carrey movies. So I also rewatched Yes Man, and I'm rewatching Bruce Almighty. And while Liar Liar has a couple jokes that didn't age well because, you know, it was 1996, I still think like the prevailing like Jim Carrey-ness of it is really impressive and fun. And the end is like insane. I went through the whole like finale scene on the phone with Natasha because I was like, you're not gonna believe how this ends.
Definitely forgot.
And then Yes Man, I love Yes Man, and that one was in 2008, so it was when I was like, oh, Jim Carrey's not funny, because I just like, grew up on these things that I didn't understand really, because all the jokes were kind of like for an adult. And then I watched Yes Man on a delay, and it was so cute and so good and so inspiring. I love Yes Man. And I'm watching Bruce Almighty right now during my breaks, and I'm just like, I loved this movie as a child. And I'm getting so much joy from it now. Anyway, that's my rant about Jim Carrey. I learned because I was watching like behind the scenes.
Oh my God.
Yes, man. He talked about, like, they asked him what his favorite stunt was, and there's this scene in the movie where he's like a no man in the beginning. He always doesn't want to go out and like doesn't want to be out and doesn't want to like do anything when his friends ask him to do things. He's in this big rut, and he comes out for like 2 minutes, and then he's like, I'm gonorrhea, and he like turns around and runs into the waitress, and the waitress like spills all her shit, and he like turns and falls, and it's like, it's very good physical humor, okay? But he falls in this way, it's very funny. But he talks about in this interview that he broke 3 ribs.
Oh my
falling in that scene. And that scene in 2008, he's definitely older. He's in his like maybe late 40s. I don't know how old he was. And he said that like during the fall, he was like, wouldn't it be funnier mid-fall if all of my limbs went up and got into the shot? And that's why he broke his ribs, because he changed the way that he fell mid-fall.
Oh my gosh.
For the shot.
For the shot, for the bit.
Yeah. So anyway, he's really talented. Okay, Nicole says I recently watched The Cable Guy for the first time, and it was way wilder than I realized. Okay, I literally was gonna watch The Cable Guy yesterday, and I texted Natasha. I was like, "Have you watched this?" And she was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, I'll just watch First Whole Lady."
It's not like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, I started the first like 10 minutes, and I didn't like that he was playing a character with like a weird lisp. So.
Not very Jim Carrey-esque.
Anyway, I haven't watched any TV. Have you? Sorry, that was a long ramble.
Yes, I've watched TV. I went to the Rings of Power screening event and watched the first 2 episodes there, and then watched the 3rd episode that's now officially out. And I think the new one comes out this week. I love this show. Like, it was a little, like, last season's got a little slow, and it's not very rewatchable in my opinion, but I don't know, it kind of is. I'm obsessed with the 2 main characters, which is Galadriel and then Halbrand. And I don't, it's so hard to like spoil. I try not to spoil things. But they're my new Raylo. And I just need them to kiss. And it's just very prevalent that the Rings of Power marketing team also is very aware of the fact that people ship them, even though it should not be shipped, especially not in like the Tolkien universe. Okay. But I love it. So,
hi everyone, this is Alex. Quick PSA, Natasha's about to go into some details regarding the Rings of Power TV show that are unfortunately incorrect, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that the details are corrected via voiceovers.
Rings of Power, if you guys didn't know, is the prequel series to Lord of the Rings. However, Amazon only has the rights to the appendices of the Silmarillion.
Amazon only has rights to the Lord of the Rings, and as such, the appendices in the Lord of the Rings.
So they can't even like the appendices is like the index, I think, of the Silmarillion.
Encyclopedia?
Yeah.
The appendices for the Lord of the Rings is actually really interesting. It goes into some events that happen to characters besides the main cast that you read about, family trees, explaining the Elven language, as well as what's most relevant, a short chronological order to the Second and Third Age, which is what Amazon has to work with when it comes to writing the script for Rings of Power.
The Silmarillion is like a history book for the Lord of the Rings. So it's not really a story or anything like that. It just kind of goes into like the history of the elves and the dwarves and things like that, and Sauron and how, because we don't ever really see Sauron in Lord of the Rings in his true form, because he was already like killed prior, like 1,000 years prior.
2,500 years prior.
But his soul is like in the ring, so it's kind of like a Horcrux, but his entire soul is in the ring, so that's why they have to go throw it into the fires of Mount Doom. Okay, but Rings of Power follows basically Sauron's story, and up until that point where he does die, or at least we're thinking that, but it follows the rings that he makes for everyone, So like there's 3 rings for the elves, there's 6 rings for the dwarves,
7 rings for the dwarves.
and 8 rings. I don't know how many, 9 rings for men.
Why is he giving them rings?
So that he can control them.
Oh.
Yeah. So that he can take over and become the Lord.
Of the universe.
Yeah. So anyways, you kind of have to go into it being like, this isn't actually like it's not like super canon. Like they're kind of, because if you start doing like the actual storyline that's in the history books, you kind of have to change it a little bit, or else you're going to get copyright infringement. So it's like it's not super canon, but it is. But
I like that they're exploring that, because the rings are so confusing. Like, they're so obscure.
they are very obscure, and you don't really know what they do. The only thing that you see, well, because Galadriel still has her ring, and in the movies, the only thing that you really know about is the Witch Kings, which those are the people on the horses, and they're in like the black cloaks, and those were the 9 rings of men, and they all turned into these things. Mm-hmm. So that's.
But are they kind of carrying his soul still? Like, are they Horcruxes?
Kind of. They are. They're not really carrying his soul, because his soul is mostly in the One Ring. It's mostly like they've been corrupted so badly by his soul that they've turned into these creatures.
So they can't be redeemed.
Yeah, no, they cannot.
Interesting. All right. So you're enjoying season 2 so far?
I am enjoying season 2 a lot, and we've only had the first 3 episodes, but I feel like they're changing some of the things that they did wrong in season 1, and that makes me hopeful. So
good.
Yes. And then Alex has put on this anime that he really wants me to watch. It's called Violet Evergarden, and I actually am enjoying it. It's on Netflix.
Nice.
Yes.
Glad to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we're going to get into our main discussion, folks. We're going to talk YouTube in just a moment. But before we do, I want to take a second and thank all of you out there listening. Thank you so much for being part of the Forking Fangirls community. We appreciate you, and we'd love it if you're not already, if you follow the podcast in your favorite podcast listening app for free, whether that be, Apple Podcasts. Is that what it's called? Apple Podcasts. Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. What does that be? Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, whatever your preference is, Pocket Casts. You can follow us for free so you never miss an episode. And if you don't know already, we're on YouTube. Every episode is on YouTube. There's a visual version. And if you like to watch the show, you can subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@thoseforkingfangirls. And we have a Patreon. This is a viewer supported show. That is how we do the show. We are so grateful for our Patreon support. And if you want to become a patron, you at the $5 level, you get the show ad free. You get to come to our recordings and chat in the chat, be a part of the live conversation. And you get Fangirl Tea Time, our extra half an hour show at the end of every single episode of Those Working Fangirls. So when you do become a patron, you get access to all of the previous ones. So you have 88 extra content episodes waiting for you. And we talk more personal stories there. We go a little deeper into things that we might not be comfortable talking about on the main show, but we are comfortable with our tight-knit Patreon community. It's really fun over there. And we have 2 more different levels where you get bonus episodes, Team Edward, and then we have Team Pulse Bananas, where you get to fill out a form to be on the show. You get to come to fangirl bonding sessions we have every month. So it's a lot of fun stuff. And you can try out the $5 level for free for 7 days. Give it a go before you commit and do the free trial. See if you like it. All of that is in the show notes below. And you can go to patreon.com/thoseworkingfangirls if you want to check it out. All right.
Chris says, I have finished all of Fangirl Tea Time. Wow.
Wow. Nice.
I want to know what that journey was like.
Going back in time.
I know.
Okay, so now listen to the bonus episodes. Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah, we just uploaded our AMA, so that's up now.
Yeah. We just listened. So when we did the episode the AMA main show episode, we had a lot of leftover questions. So the bonus episode went up. I think we have a video version of it, but maybe we have to put up an audio version.
The audio
too.
version's already up. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You guys are my companions on so many trips, Chris says. Oh, I love hearing that. Thank you for supporting the show. So, all right. If you are a Patreon, we're going to roll right into the main discussion. If not, we will be right back after these messages. All right. It's time for our main discussion. So, YouTube was part of so many of our formative years. It was coming up as I was in my late teens and as Natasha was going into her teens, right? Like YouTube was becoming a thing. And for a lot of like Gen Z, it was like their childhood was YouTube instead of like TV stuff.
I mean, same with Gen Alpha now. Like, my
yeah.
nephews are all about Miss Rachel, and oh my God, it's they just watch YouTube all the time.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone remembers, I feel like, the first people they were obsessed with on YouTube, the first people they subscribed to, the first people that made them want to make videos. If you did go on to make your own YouTube channel, who made you feel seen for the first time on the internet? They really, especially I think for our like beginning YouTube like pioneer generation, they formed the foundation of what we think of as content in general.
Yep.
And how we crafted what we wanted to do on the medium based off of what we knew YouTube to be. So we're going to go through our beginning YouTube subscriptions and inspirations and all of that stuff. Should I start? Do you want to start? Our first one's the same.
First and same. Let's go with that.
All right, we'll start with the first one. Hillywood was what brought me to YouTube in the first place. Do you remember how you discovered Hillywood for the first time, Natasha?
Well, it was because I was watching all of the Twilight interviews and things like that. Like, I would only really use YouTube for Twilight interviews. Yeah. And I do have to say, the guy who did shoes, let's get some shoes. Like, he's probably the first one.
But that didn't make us stay on YouTube.
No, it was more like a viral video before we even knew what viral video was.
Yeah. And there was the Numa guy, but that was before even YouTube. That was on like a website.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. But I think
Maya
ha. Okay. But like, I mean, we both probably discovered Hillywood Show through the Twilight parody. And then from that point, it was like, okay, they're going to be doing New Moon. And then like once they did those first two, we were like hooked. Okay. Cause then they were going to all the conventions and I wanted to meet them. And I was just hooked for the next video that they were going to do, because I think that's what makes us like subscribers, is because we want to see what they're going to do next.
Yeah, of course. So I was listening to all the Twilight podcasts and someone was like, have you seen the Hillywood Show? Like, they have this amazing Twilight parody. Yeah. And of course, I went to YouTube to find the Hillywood Show, and I was in my just like, when was it? Yeah, my like I'm going to film school era. And I was in my freshman year, and I found them so inspiring that these two sisters were able to do this like amazing parody together. And I wanted to make stuff so badly, and I was like, I have a sister and she likes to make videos with me. Like, we made videos together. I was like, we have to do something like this. Literally, I was like, from after I saw the Hillywood Show, I think that's when I was first inspired to like try to put together my first like big music video production. And I don't know if you remember this really first old one, but we did Justin Bieber's Love Me, Say That You Love Me. And before that we were making like music video-y stuff. But like this was the first time that I was like trying to get together like a bunch of people because I was like, they did it, I can do it. And like I taught them all a dance and I made the video and put it up on YouTube of me teaching the dance so that the girls could learn it before I got home for Christmas break and like all this stuff. So I just really was empowered by seeing these like young women who are around my age really go for it in such an intense way where they were like building sets and going to different locations. I was like, I don't have to film in my house.
Like it was so cool to see them. I think I was too young though to even be like, there's no way I could ever do something like this, because it like their production value was so intense, even though they only had really like their family and their friends helping them. And like just the things that they could put on were incredible. And I think that's why I loved watching them. And I was like, I don't know if I could ever do anything like this, but I'm going to sit here from afar and like watch you. And I loved even like the behind the scenes stuff, and
I loved it so much.
Yeah.
I feel like I learned so much from the Hillywood show in terms of like how to organize a music video on a bigger scale, because I would watch all of their behind the scenes and just in general I would study how they formed their set pieces, you know, and how they would just, I don't know, because it's been so long. I just know I studied everything that they did, camera work wise and editing wise, and I just wanted to learn as much as I could from people who were doing this on a scale that was closer to the way that I could do it. And because I was just watching movies and stuff and like professional music videos and all that stuff. Anyway, Hillywood was seminal. And the next thing that I remember from the very beginning was Fred.
Who's Fred?
He was okay. So Fred was iconic in the beginning of YouTube. He was this young kid who would fast forward his voice so that he had like really high pitched voice like this. Okay. Like he would change the pitch and put himself on fast forward, so he'd talk really fast and be like, I'm Fred, and like he would do like really stupid humor. Like he had this video called like bladder infection that I thought was so funny at the time, because he would just be like, I have a bladder infection, and he would say it like 1,000 times until like all of a sudden it was funny.
Oh my god.
Like, he was just, so when Olivia started making those videos on my channel, she was making them in the way that Fred made them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she was completely inspired by Fred. And Fred was iconic. He was viral everywhere. And it was just like, he eventually got a legitimate TV show. Like, and I would see him at like Playlist Live and stuff, just like, there's Fred getting on the elevator. Like, he was, I feel like, the first vlogger that was like super viral. But he made regular videos that were just like dumb and funny for young kids. Yeah. So Fred was iconic. Christine's music dances on 2-speed. Yep, Fred taught me how to speed up video.
2x speed.
And play with the pitch. And if you watch Olivia's old vlogs on my channel, she was like, I'm tan. I love to be tan. Like, her voice is so high pitched because I edited it like Fred.
I have never seen this person ever in my life.
You would probably recognize him because he was so viral. I feel like you must have seen something. But yeah, back in the day, Fred was the shit. And then Potter Puppet Pals lives in my brain rent free forever. Just like the ticking, what is it called? Pipe bomb one. Like the Snape, Severus Snape, Hermione Snape, Harry Potter.
I feel like I missed
the mysterious ticking noise.
I missed so much of that like YouTube Harry Potter stuff. Like I never, like I didn't really watch the Potter Puppet Pals. Like I knew of it, but I didn't know, you know, because like I wasn't really in
the fandom.
And then like same thing with, you know, the Harry Potter musical. Like I don't know it.
Yeah, okay. So that's another thing at this time that was enormous and kept me on YouTube for hours because I would watch with Paul a Harry Potter musical and a Harry Potter musical. Well, was it a Harry Potter musical too? That was what the second one was called. Like they were so fun and so long, and it kept me on the site, and I was subscribed to them, and I would love their updates. But yeah, but Harry Potter Puppet Pals was so viral, and
Yeah.
I watched that so often that just pops into my head all the time. Like Hermione, like just the way that they talked and said things.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'll just be singing it. Harry Potter Puppet Pals just came up on my TikTok FYP the other day. It lives on. Oh shit. Oh, Nicole says I just watched a Harry Potter musical for the first time a couple months ago. So if you haven't watched a Harry Potter musical and a Harry Potter musical too, let me just give you the backstory here really quickly. So Michigan, I think it was Michigan University.
It was Michigan University.
Yeah, they put on a Potter musical and a Harry Potter musical at their school as their musical. Like these were college students who wrote it and performed it, and they filmed it and put it on YouTube and it went viral. So then a Harry Potter musical came to be. Like, and Darren Criss was just going to college there. Darren Criss ended up in Glee. Like he was playing Harry Potter. Like that's where he got his start, y'all. Like it was so fun. Now, like my one critique of these musicals is that they're a little too long. Because I don't think I ever got to the end.
Okay.
But other than that, they're brilliant songs. They were so funny. It was just like my generation parodying Harry Potter, you know, in like the funniest way. And we were like the Gen Z of the time. And it was so fun to hear their take on it, because it was the first time you're hearing all of these things that you've been obsessed with for so long be looked at like from a comedic angle that really understood the story. Like when like SNL and shit would parody Harry Potter, it was kind of like dumb. Like they didn't understand the reverence for it because they were a little older. And this was like the Harry Potter generation making fun of Harry Potter in this like loving way where like you get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so like it's weird though, because it's Star Kid is like we know them. Like so I don't know if you guys know this, but like our friend Tessa Netting is married to Joe Moses, who played Snape in a Harry Potter musical. I was just at her birthday this weekend, and everyone was just singing it in karaoke, and I'm like, I don't know this song. I'm like the only person in the room.
Sing those songs all the time. They're just so good. So like heartwarming. Gotta get back to Hogwarts. Like I cry watching. So Tessa like recently performed with them a bunch of times, and she would play Hermione. But she didn't play it in the original, but she's been playing it in these like reunion performances, and like I'll watch these reunion performances and like cry. Because like the whole audience is singing it with them, and they're all back together on the stage, and everyone's so passionate and excited, and it just brings back like so much like nostalgia.
Yeah. I think it was very, just because I didn't grow up with it, but I remember when we went to Tessa's bridal shower and everyone was there from Star Kid, and Heather was like, because Heather was also on YouTube too. She did all those like musical medleys, and but they were such a big influence on her too that she literally couldn't interact because she was just like starstruck.
Literally, can I just tell you? So when I went to Bufferfest in 2017, I was like one of the creators there, and I like presented a video, and I was, you know, friends with Tessa, and I was hanging out with them, and she was just casually hanging out with everyone from Star Kid. This is my first encounter. I didn't know at the time either that, because Joe wasn't there. Joe was in law school. So I didn't realize that like her connection ran so deep that she was married or getting married to one of the Star Kids. But she was like casually hanging out with them all. And like Joey Richter, who plays Ron, and like the guy who plays Lupin. And like they were just all there. And I was just sit at this table like with a drink, just like... And And Joey said something about like, he's like, oh, your video is so funny. And I was like, oh my God. Ron Weasley.
Let's not talk about the wedding where Darren Chris was at. So that was.
But we didn't interact. It was like, it wasn't like this at all.
Yeah, no.
This was
We were like, can't
we were
interact with you.
talking at a table.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I remember, okay, later on that day, I think his name was Brian, the guy who played Lupin and stuff, but he was one of the writers. And I just remember asking if this whole group, if they had seen Puffs. And they were all like,
Oh, God.
I'm like, it's very different. It's not a musical. I just like, everyone was like, no.
Yeah. Oops. Don't mention that again. Marielle was like, you don't even understand the way my mind was blown when you guys and Starkid, my two YouTube fandoms, began to interact via Tessa.
Yeah. Okay. Also, you didn't watch a Harry Potter musical, but the girl who plays Draco, and I can never remember her name because she's so Draco in my head. I just like erase it every time I learn it. She's so funny, and she literally changed the way I saw Draco Malfoy forever in the most hilarious way.
Oh.
So, and her acting, like Lauren Lopez. Okay. I just think her physical comedy and the way she played him was so funny. I think it like altered the way that I am comedic. Like she would like do this weird shit. Like she'd talk and then like kind of trip and like roll on the ground while she was saying his lines. And he was so weird and it was so funny. Iconic. And yeah, me and Paul to this day just like will randomly just say things that she says is Draco Malfoy. The way Paul will like be Draco Malfoy is the way that she is. And me too. Like Lauren Lopez is my Draco Malfoy.
Oh my gosh. I think I sat down and watched the first half of it because it's in 4 parts, right?
It's so long. There's so many parts. I mean, back in the day, you could only have like 12-minute videos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think Heather had me sit down and watch. I need to like sit down and actually watch the whole thing.
yeah, Shot says, I think she ruined Draco fanfic for me. I can never read any Draco fanfic without picturing her. Maybe that's why I can't read fanfic.
You can't read any fanfic. You tried once.
I tried once.
A long time ago. You should
and I
try
read it
you should
until
try
the end, and there was no end.
You should try something else.
I was thinking of trying your breath mints one.
Sure.
Because I could do the audio.
Yeah, it's the audiobook. When YouTube was coming about, I was in high school. Like 2008 was Hollywood show, so I was my freshman in high school. But then I didn't start like really getting into people. Well, I'll talk about this, but anyways, one of my other main ones is my best friend Christine, right here. Pulling Bananas books. A lot of people in the chat were like, this is weird you guys are talking about this because you guys are our like early YouTube influences. Well, Christine was probably my main one. Like you were the person because I watched all these people. I'm like, meh, I can't really do any of this stuff. And then when I watched you, I was like, wow, I actually have a lot of the same thoughts that she does. And this is really fun. And she's so funny and witty. And I like couldn't wait until you uploaded. Like, I remember there was points when I just binged your, like all your channels at one point. It was like 2012 or something. And I was just binging your videos. And then, I mean, like we talked about how we met, but then she ended up like writing into Page Premiere. I was like, oh my God. Because I loved you so much and your videos were so fun. They were like crack. And even like when we became friends, I still obviously admired you and I still like couldn't wait until your next upload. And then like when we were able to like actually be like bestie friends, I got the inside scoop and it made me feel special.
Yeah, so this is like later on my timeline, obviously, because this was like 2013, 2012. But before I was doing that, I was like Did you watch It's Kingsley, bitch?
I watched it because of you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He was seminal for me finding subscribers on YouTube because It's Kingsley, bitch. If anyone remembers the viral video called Things I Hate, because I've made 2 versions of this myself because of him. But he was like, I remember it so vividly, like the things he hates, like birds outside singing in the morning, like fuck birds, shut the fuck up, I'm sleeping. All of these things are so burned in my head, but like the way he delivered it was so funny. It was pure comedy, this Things I Hate video. So I subscribed to him, and because I was discovering like YouTube people after Hillywood, and he watched my like telephone video and liked it and commented on that one and my Alejandro video, and he subscribed to me and put me on his page. So back in the day, when you subscribe to people, you could put them in a box on your page. So when people subscribe to you, they also subscribe to everyone in your box. So I was getting so many subscribers all of a sudden. And like, this is what prompted me to make videos more regularly, because I was like, people are watching. Like, oh my God, I have an audience. But that is how I first started getting subscribers. Like I was getting like 10 a day and I was like, this is crazy. So he was really seminal for me, and he was so funny, and he eventually like stopped making videos because he didn't like having to be negative all the time. Like that's something, a pitfall a lot of people fall into when their first video that's viral is like one of those kind of negative ranty videos. But he was iconic. And then of course we have Jenna Marbles, who I think is also ingrained in my DNA. Like,
well, I was like, she was the one, I think, because I was so entranced and entrenched in Twilight that my whole high school career for YouTubers was basically just Twilight and the Hillywood show. And then it wasn't until after like I kind of started getting out of that. Like I remember going to church one day after like binge watching Jenna Marbles videos and being like, have you guys watched Jenna Marbles videos? Like, she's so funny. I think I was in my junior or senior year of high school at that point. And like, she was probably one of the first people that I kind of got out of like the Twilight hole with. And then I moved on into BookTube because I was like, I need to find more books like Twilight.
Yeah. The Jenna Marbles, like How to Scare Guys at the Club was like her iconic, like first viral video. And she was like, she had her face like super bronzed. So funny. I remember posting that on people's Facebooks. Like, watch this, it's so funny. But she brought me so much joy over the years. Like, I would look forward to her posts with their like every Wednesday or something.
Wednesday,
yeah. And she did it for so long until like she was just getting too much hate and it wasn't worth it.
It's been 4 years because I went back and I looked at her channel. And I was like, I need to watch a Jenna Marbles video again just so I can remember.
Yeah. Well, people were, one of my viral TikToks, the one with the sticker, everyone was like, oh my God, you sound like Jenna Marbles. And I was like, I didn't register that at all, but like, it's totally possible that she's just in me. Because she was one of my like first YouTubers that I was watching on a regular. Okay, this one was really influential to me. I don't know if anyone else remembers What's Up Elle. Probably not, because she was like never very regular, but she had a lot of subscribers. She used to make videos. This is the first person I saw making videos dancing with 2 other versions of themselves back in the day. Yeah. So she was a dancer, but like a casual dancer. Like I was kind of, I wasn't like doing anything like very fancy, but I saw how she edited herself with herself and I was like, this is amazing. Like, I must learn to do this. And of course, then was born all of my dance videos where I was dancing with myself because of What's Up Elle.
Okay.
And then came the vlogger era. Of course, the Vlogbrothers. I was watching the Vlogbrothers, but there was Charlie Is So Cool Like, and then Narimon, who has been canceled and problematic. And then Nanalu and Mika Kitty were like my OG vloggers. Was anyone else around during this era of the OG vlogger? Like when they were really blowing up. Shot says yes. The British YouTuber phase. This was the original British YouTuber phase. So yeah, Charlie Is So Cool Like was the first to have 1 million subscribers that I saw. Even the Vlogbrothers, I think they were at like 300K when I found them. And I was obsessed. So Charlie at the time lived with Alex Day, who was Narimon. And I just watched their videos all the time. I felt so lonely because I was like in a single at college. So I was like finding all these people on the internet that I was like, oh, these are my people. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons that I think I had the drive to study abroad was like, if I go to London, I'll meet these people. Literally. I made that happen.
I know.
But so I'm really thankful that I found that community, if only for the fact that they gave me like the bravery to like fucking leave the country. I found a lot of people through them because they would make videos with people. Like people would have their friends in their little boxes, and I would explore everyone in their boxes. That's how I found Nanalu and Mika Kitty. I think maybe I found Charlie Is So Cool because he was in the Vlogbrother. So she's transitioned. Charlie was in the Vlogbrothers
box. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely missed this generation of British YouTubers because I was in the generation of Zoella and Sprinkle of Glitter.
That was the next wave.
And Alfie Days and Marcus Butler and Joe, Zoe's brother, Tanya Burr, and all those people. Like, I watched all of them. And it all stemmed pretty much from Zoella and Louise Pentland, who's Sprinkle of Glitter, because I think I first found Zoella. I thought she was so cute and so pretty. And I think this was my first lifestyle vlogger. Everyone else, I really just liked their comedy videos. And besides Christine, like the book videos, this was like the first time I watched someone who was into style and hair and things like that. And then Louise was the first plus size person I ever followed. And that was everything to me. So it was the first time I saw someone just being their total self and loving their body. And I think the plus size movement, like body positivity, started in this time. Like it was like 2012 to like, you know, that's when we had Ashley Graham and we had other plus size influences. And this is why I think I even started talking about it more as for myself. So this was my like first big like foundation of being a plus size influencer online, was from Sprinkle Glitter. But like, it was so crazy because Zoella got huge. I think she was the first one to hit 10 million. She got like the big diamond one. Mm-hmm. And she was so big. And like, I remember watching videos of her and Alfie because like I watched her from like her dad's house into like moving to Bristol or wherever.
Yeah, I remember that era.
Yeah. And like watching her do these, and like when her book came out and she did this signing, and then they didn't have security around her, and just so many people showed up for her. It was insane. And then like being at VidCon and seeing the craze for these people.
All these people at VidCon. Yeah, just casually they would just be like out on the sidewalk and there'd just be like a massive circle of people around them.
Yeah. Brighton. Yeah, she moved to Brighton. And then Shot says Louise has recently gotten active on TikTok. And I know she has, and I've been following her since the beginning, but it was interesting to see how she had this same transition that I also had like in 2017, 2018, where she decided, she's like, I don't want to do, like, she was making content for younger generations. Like, she was making content for teenagers. And then she decided, she's like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to make content for moms because she's a mom.
Yeah.
And so she ended up making that transition in 2018. A lot of us just kind of like fell off. But now we're all approaching, and like, you know, our people are either in their mid 20s or their 30s, and now we're watching her again. So it's funny how like we find these people again if they continue doing content. But yeah, Zoe has like 2 kids now with Alfie. It's insane.
Wow.
And I still watch her vlogs. So
Nice.
yeah.
We gotta talk about Dan.
Yeah.
Dan
Oh yeah.
Howell.
I love him.
I loved Dan. I discovered him after I was already like making videos and vlogs and stuff, but I just thought he was so funny, and he had such great comedic timing, and I feel like I probably learned stuff from watching his videos too. But he was so funny. I never got into Phil because he wasn't like funny like Dan was. Like, he was a different type
I like
of
them
video.
together.
Yeah, together. But like I loved Dan's videos, like just talking to the camera.
Yeah.
And like editing in himself, like while he was telling stories. Like I'll never forget that story where like the napkin got stuck to his crotch when he was going to the bathroom, and it was just so fucking funny. The Inception boom that I used in my videos, I got from Dan. I loved it so much when he did it. I was like, it's perfect. I need that in my videos. Oh my God.
I remember like trying to also find that sound. I'm like, I love this sound.
Me too. Oh my God, I use it all the time. Oh, and also, okay, you know what I was realizing? A lot of like my troll humor, that I felt enabled to do that because Alex Day was such a fucking internet troll, and I found that so amusing. And I was like, oh, am I allowed to be like that? But he was canceled because he was abusing women. So
Oh my God.
not for being an internet troll. But I feel like that side of like my comedy, my videos was like enabled by like really enjoying that aspect of comedy in his videos.
Yeah, he's hilarious. They were all a part of that. Like, they all were friends. All those British people were friends, and that's how I kind of found everyone.
Yeah, it was like Britain was like this like YouTube mecca where it's like everyone there's friends and everyone works together, and everyone in the United States is so far away from each other. There wasn't like a hub like London where like you could travel to in a matter of hours. Like people were across the fucking country. Like everyone was so far away, so there wasn't the same community as was over there. So like that brings me to like the wave. So when Natasha's wave of Zoella people were becoming like huge, there was also like the filmy British YouTubers, and I was a film student. I loved all their content, and I so badly wanted a group of people to be content with like this. So there was like Tim and Sammy and Jack and Dean and Kyan. Kyan's videos were so funny. Did you watch Kyan's videos?
I only really watched Jack. What was Jack something?
Jack and Dean?
Jack and Dean.
Jack Howard.
Yeah, Jack
Jack
Howard.
and Dean.
I only watched Jack because he was friends with Louise.
Okay, so I watched all these people and then like met them all at Playlist and all of these different things, and I like so badly wanted to be like this. There was so much sexism, I feel like, in this age of time in 2014. This is when everyone would just be like, oh, so you're a beauty guru. And I was like, no, I make comedy sketches. I do what you do. Stop blowing me off. So it was really cool to meet them. And Tom Ska, that whole crew. And obviously that was the Dan Howell time too.
Yeah. I loved, everyone made like videos together. And it was,
I know, they were so collaborative.
It was so collaborative. It was so fun to watch it like all go down, especially when around VidCon time came around. Then they would collab with all of the US YouTubers. And so like this is how I found Joey Graceffa and like Grace Helbig and Memory Heart. But yeah, like I also love Joey Graceffa, and so funny. I just met him for the first time in person at the Rings of Power premiere,
Yeah.
but we had been in the same room several times, and he even hired like our group of booktubers to promote his book back in the day. And so I was like, I just went up to him. I'm like, "Hi, Joey. I'm Natasha. We have this long history that you probably don't know about. But you hired me to promote your book back in the day." And he's like, "Oh my God, wait, I was just thinking about that." And I'm like, "No way. Yeah." I'm Natasha. And I used to do like booktube videos. And he's like, "Oh, cool. Like, what are you doing now?" And I was like, "Oh, I make like sewing stuff now, but like in the fandom world." Anyways, just so like he would post almost every single day. So I would watch him all the time. And he just does like, he did like lifestyle vlogs, and I loved him and his boyfriend. They were just so cute together, and he had all these animals, and he's funny too. I love him. Anyways,
the crazy part of the YouTube community here is that like you would watch these people and grow up on them, and it wasn't like watching TV. Like all of a sudden, if you made videos and you were that world, you would meet them. And that's what was so this, and it's kind of bringing me around to another topic, but like when we were on like in our heyday of booktube, when new booktubers would come in and like, I don't know, they would make those videos about like booktube drama or like just like stirring up mean, cruel things in the community. It was like, it was so baffling because they're young and they don't realize that like in 2 seconds we could be at a thing together and be all hanging out and be friends. And like you're kind of really burning the
bridges
before they're even formed. Because then when you would meet the people that you'd see that did these like cruel videos, you're feeling like really weird about talking to them and being normal because you feel like they're being fake because you saw that video.
Yeah, we've had a few of those issues back in the day.
But anyway, so we would meet, all this to say, back like when we were coming up and going to cons as like creators, and we would meet so many of these people that we love their videos. It was just like, it's so hard to, I mean, for me, it was so hard as always to like break the barrier and like talk to them. And one of the ones that like, it was impossible for me to cross was Elmify. And I don't know if you were around during Elmify times. Prime time was like 2012,
Google
2011. And she was so funny and so clever. And the Vlogbrothers had her in their box. So that's how I discovered her. And she was like in med school or something. And she wrote some books. And her style was just so cute. And it built off of each other. So like you watch her videos in order and like the jokes would continue and get funnier. And she would kind of like talk to different versions of herself. She was so funny. And I met her at VidCon 2012. And I was just like so fangirly. And and she was really shy, and I was just like, bye.
Nicole says, I also loved Troye Sivan back in the day before he went to singing. I know, and I feel like people don't know that Troye like started out in the British YouTuber thing too.
Yeah.
When he came out the same day the Zoe Alfie relationship was revealed, I was living.
I missed like, I mean, I caught some of his vlogs, but like I didn't like subscribe to Troye. I just knew he was in the YouTube community, and I would see him at like playlists and stuff. But I wasn't like in the craze. But when he became a singer, I was like, oh wow, look at him go.
Same. I was like, oh my God, look at you. Now I love it. I love his music.
Yeah, he's great.
Okay, so I don't have a lot of beauty gurus on here because I feel like I wasn't as invested in beauty guru. Like I watched so many, but I would look for certain videos. Okay. But the person who I was like head over heels for, in love with as far as beauty gurus, was Nikki Tutorials. And I still love her. She actually was one of the first people I ever, I think, Googled about beauty, like beauty videos, because she did a Catherine video from Vampire Diaries. Way back in the day, like before she even got
heard of her. I've seen her name.
Yeah, before she ever got like huge, she did like a Catherine Pearson a video, and I followed that. anyways, she's amazing, and I've always loved her makeup, and she's probably like the one who I've learned so many different techniques from. And she also she's just funny. She's just good entertainment too. Like I never really did any of like her big dramatic looks, but I loved just watching her videos.
Yeah, I never watched any beauty gurus, but like you would talk about them, so I would hear about them on the outskirts.
It's so funny now. I never really like, another big one from back in the day was Jaclyn Hill, and I never really liked her videos, but now in her short form content on TikTok, I love her so much more. There's so many people that I knew about back in the day. I just didn't like their long form, and now I love their short form. And I think that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm curious now, like, who of the people on your list do you still follow, and what are you watching on YouTube now? Like, do you go to YouTube for a vlogger person on a regular?
I don't. The only person what is now that I follow are people who do sewing, like who do crafty stuff. And so that person who really inspired me and was like, made me think, oh, I could do this, was Rachel Maxkey. And she is like the most aesthetic, like hobbity redhead. She has this beautiful house in the Boston area. But even before then, she was just like in her home and just making crafts like on her living room floor. And she just would make the most insane things. And I was like, oh my God, I think I can do this. Like, she was the one who really inspired me to like turn on my sewing machine and start making things. And she comes out with videos every other Friday now. It used to be every Friday. But she's just incredible. And I love, and like, not only are her crafts and her pieces incredible, but her videos are so calming and so aesthetic. And she puts so much work into it. Like, and she's also funny too. She's got like little bits here and there. And the way that she thinks about filming things is, I've always wanted to do it. I don't know. She just is so good at it, and I love her. But she's probably the only one that I really go back to and watch her videos constantly. So like, if you guys ever want to be inspired to start sewing, watch her videos.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another kind of interesting topic, because I wanted to ask, like, has there been someone past like the seminal formative years that has really like inspired your content or the way that you make things? And obviously it sounds like Rachel, is that for you?
Mm-hmm. And what about you?
I didn't talk about Mika Kitty, but like she's such a good editor. And I still will like study the way she edits certain things, like her transitions and stuff, because she's so good. But her music videos, like, I feel like I learned so much and like grew so much from like attempting to do different things that she would do. And then the next like vloggers that it took me so long, and I was so like uninspired and like wasn't watching much YouTube until I came across, I met Damon and Joe on that Venice trip for the the Murder on the Orient Express movie. And I hadn't watched any of their content before that, but like I loved them in person. I had so much fun. They were just like, they were both the kind of people where you meet them and you feel like you've been friends for years, and like we just talked so much and stuff. And then I went back and watched their content, and their editing style was just like so innovative and different and fun. And I know that this was Damon, I think, his editing style, that he was editing their a lot of their stuff, and it really inspired me, like, try new things and like just try different vlogging styles and different types of music. And he's so creative with his editing, and I'm just so inspired by like really interesting edits. And I feel like that really renewed like my wanting to vlog and make like interesting vlogs in terms of like when you're moving around, not like sitting in front of the camera, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we really grew up in that like sitting in front of a camera type of situation, and then it kind of got moved.
Where you would like cut to different like little bits and stuff instead of like travel vlogs.
Yeah.
And they were so good at travel vlogs. Like their personalities together, magic. And then recently, like while I was doing all my writing vlogs, like I didn't know Emma Chamberlain. I know she's huge and everybody knows who she is. And I know her from like the Vogue interviews. That's where I first discovered her. And I went and watched a lot of her videos. And the way that she like is so, her videos, she like lets them breathe and does like establishing shots and like that sort of style on YouTube really like I feel like influenced the way that I edited my writing series because I was like, oh, I can be like this instead of being like
yeah. Well, it's that new generation, you know. It's they come up with different things, and then what we used to do is old.
Trends just change, and you just have to like see someone doing something new in a way that you like. Because I know people sometimes would edit like that back in the day, but I didn't like it, and this was kind of it just felt different.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. You didn't talk about the Vlog Brothers.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned them because like they're just so seminal in the YouTube world that I almost like feel like it's obvious. But yeah, the Vlog Brothers were the first like vloggers I was watching regularly. I was subscribed to them, and because I knew of John Green as an author, and I think he was on an episode of MuggleCast, and that's when I like realized that they were on YouTube, and so I started watching their YouTube videos in like 2007, 2008 when they first started. And I wasn't like a regular watcher until after I read more of his books. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And by the time I was studying abroad in 2011, like they were a staple. Like I watched their videos every Tuesday and Friday. The only person I watch on YouTube right now is Melanie Murphy, who I haven't discussed yet, but like she makes mom content. And I'm just like, she had her first kid the same time I got Bellamy, and her videos about like her life changing schedule wise and like content wise when she had her kid were paralleling my life with Bellamy and like breaking up with John so well. Really, I felt some solace there. I will like go to YouTube to watch like people's birthing. Like I watched all of Louise Pentland's birthing videos.
Oh my God. You that is one weird thing about you. It's like you don't want to have kids, but you will watch the birthing videos.
Well, I think it's like this fascination because like I'm not quite 100% sure I don't want kids.
Yeah.
And the part of it that I don't think that like I would be able to physically do without like I'm so scared of giving birth. Like I don't want to do that. I don't want to house a child in me for 9 months. Like I don't want to build a body in my body because I'm so anxious about my own everything going on that I could feel. So I'm like, if I had another being in me, like it'd be another level. But I like to see people's experiences and really like understand every step of it and everything that they do to prepare and everything that they went through, because you don't get that intimate look from like your family. Like they don't tell you those details like the elders in your family.
No.
So I feel like I've watched so many birthing videos, like obviously all of Melanie's, and obviously I watched like Miranda Sings.
Oh,
what's
Miranda
her real name?
Sings.
I watched her birthing videos. I watched everyone's birthing videos that would come up because they would just be recommended to me because I was watching birthing videos. Well, that was our main discussion today. Hope you guys had fun going down that nostalgia trip with us. We are going to move on into Mary Kiss Cliff.
This is an interesting one.
Yeah, so I made this one. So, Mary Kiss Cliff, dumplings, garlic breadsticks, or loaded nachos.
Okay, are we talking?
I was hungry when I wrote this.
Dumplings, like as in like Chinese dumplings?
Yeah, like dumplings.
Well, there could also be chicken and dumplings, which is just like a biscuit.
No. This is like pot sticker dumplings, that kind of dumplings.
Okay. All right. Mary Kiss Cliff. I am going to marry loaded nachos because I freaking love guacamole and chips and cheese and all of that stuff. That's my favorite thing. We're gonna Cliff garlic breadsticks because
Oh my goodness.
I'd rather have cheesy breadsticks. And I'm going to Kiss dumplings because they're very tasty.
The dumplings are amazing. I've been craving them so much, and I'm gonna marry them.
We gotta go to Din Tai Fung.
I was literally telling Cynthia about that. She's like, I could take you. There's one right here, and I was like, oh.
Oh.
Because I was like, yeah, there's one down near Natasha, like Disney. What is it called?
Downtown Disney.
Downtown Disney. And she was like, there's literally one right here.
Go. You gotta go.
Yeah. So I'm gonna marry dumplings. I'm going to kiss garlic breadsticks because they're amazing, and I'm going to Cliff loaded nachos because a lot of times they have some shit on it that I don't want.
Chris says, "What is garlic breadsticks? Are those hard things?"
No, they're from like Olive Garden. Those soft, amazing breadsticks with like the garlic glaze on them. What hard things are you talking about?
She might be thinking like those like sometimes they
those stick
those sticky ones.
I hate those crackers. No, this is soft, tall breadsticks that you get. Like Nicole's at a pizza place. You don't have the Olive Garden. Oh no.
Wait, Chris, where are you from?
I think Chris is in Europe. I forget where she said she was. Are you in like Denmark? Okay, cool. She is in Denmark. Yeah. It's like a breadstick, but with like a garlic glaze on it, like a buttery. It's delicious.
Yeah, I mean, you can also just have garlic bread too, where you just
have garlic
butter
bread
and garlic on.
But for some reason, breadsticks are just like so fun and delicious.
I think I'd rather have garlic bread.
Oh my God, I love a good breadstick. All right, well, that's our show today. I'm hungry.
Me too.
We're going to go record Fangirl Tea Time. Thank you all so much for hanging with us today. And the podcast is edited by Alex Polis, Christine, Riccio Natasha Polis, and Ricky McBurr. And the music is by Cole Jenkins with vocals by Heather Traska. Our socials are done by Chloe Laverson. If you don't know, we are on TikTok and Instagram as @ThoseForkingFangirls. So make sure you're following us over there. It is a hoot. Chloe Laverson is very good at what she does. You don't want to miss out on her amazing posts. And you'll keep updated on the show and what's going on and everything. And we do giveaways over there. We just gave away 2 free tickets to RomanceCon on our Instagram. So you missed out if you wanted to go. If you weren't following us on Instagram. Thank you all so much for being here. Be sure to check out the Patreon link in the show notes. All the other things we talked about are in the show notes. Thank you so much. We drop videos every Friday. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
I'm Christine.
I'm Natasha.
Bye.